Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another pre-recorded lesson video. I know that it has been a while, but we are back and we are starting Act 3, Scene 1 today. So before we start, I want to do a couple announcements. So this week, there will be a start practice test, okay, for reading and math. I did upload a short little list. Well, actually not short. There's like 500 students on it. But a short handout for instructions on how to access your test and some username and passwords. For that Excel sheet or that Google sheet, you need to go and look for your student ID, and you can sort through it by just typing in your student ID, right, and finding it. I think I'll create a different video on how to do that later. But if you can't figure out how to find your username and password, just message me or email me, and I will send it to you personally, okay? But that's basically it for the announcements. Now I want to quickly go over a review of Act 1 and Act 2. Actually, just Act 2, because I feel like Act 1 we've done it so much. So in Act 2, right, what's happening, or the main important parts that y'all need to remember, is that Lysander and Titania both have the flower potion in their eyes, right? And we're going to see who Titania sees first whenever she wakes up, but we know that Lysander saw Helena whenever he woke up, right? So it's a little bit complicated, and the conflict is really going to reach a tipping point in Act 3, okay? And I'm very excited to get into it, okay? So let's get started. So for the welcome, draw a picture of how you imagine Bottom looks after his transformation. So if you don't know, Bottom is one of the characters in the play. He's an actor, and he's who Titania sees first. And he goes through a transformation. Robin sees Bottom, and he decides to turn Bottom's head into a donkey. So he has the body of a man, but a head of a donkey, right? And if you attended the virtual class, I'm going to do like a little Nearpod where you can draw it. But that's basically what it looks like. He has a head of a donkey, body of a man, and that's who Titania sees first, right? And we're going to see how that is going to be sort of a problem, right? So how does your drawing of Bottom help you understand that the situation between Bottom and Titania is complicated? Imagine that you wake up and you see someone with the head of a donkey and you immediately fall in love with them, right? That could cause a little bit of problems with everyone around you, right? So we're going to see how that is sort of complicated in a relationship, and how it's very complicated for Titania because she falls in love with him because of the flower, right? So it's going to be a bit of a problem for everybody involved, okay? But that's going to bring us into our focusing question, which is what makes love complicated, right? We're done with the experience of love, and we're going to see how love can be complicated and the problems with love, right? And the content framing question for lesson 18 is what's happening in Act 3, Scene 1. We're going to finish up Act 3, Scene 1 today. It's a very short scene. And then tomorrow we should be getting into Act 3, Scene 2. Unless you're start testing, and then we're going to have to wait a little while for that. But the learning goal for today, we're going to be able to explain the differences between the points of view of the audience, Bottom and Titania, and what we know, what they know, everything in between, right? Because the audience, us as the reader, that's a very big thing about what we know and the differences between what we know and what the characters know, okay? But today we are starting Act 3, Scene 1. I'm very excited because this is one of the best acts in the entire play. This is where all the problems are coming up. And this is sort of like the climax, okay? So y'all know the deal. Playtime. I have the handout in the today's folder, what we're going to be reading today. I also have a video. It's not loading right now, but on your own computer, on your own Chromebooks, whatever, you should be able to watch the video. Go ahead and do that. And let me skip this slide. And whenever you go into the video, it's a different video than what we've been watching. What you're going to notice is you're going to hear a lot of things. You're going to see a lot of things. And one of the main things that you're going to see and hear is first, you're going to hear the audience laughing, right? And again, that's whenever you're in a play and you're watching a play, you get to see everything that's happening, right? The actors are facing you, right? So they're not really seeing anything behind them, but we get to see everything. So whenever you're watching that play, that video, you're going to see Bottom walking around, and behind him is going to be Titania. And Bottom doesn't know that she's there. Okay, so we're gonna see Titania doing some stuff, messing with his tail, things like that. But Bottom doesn't realize that, but we do. We get to see everything, so we find it funny, right? Because she's doing something behind Bottom's back. He has no idea about it. Okay, so that's one of the things that you're going to notice, and that's one of the big differences in point of view, right? Point of view is how a character sees something, how anybody in what we're reading or watching sees something, right? It's their own point of view. Every character probably has a different point of view. In this play, everybody does, right? Some characters don't know the full details of something, but we as the audience, because it's a play, we know everything that's happening, right? And that's one of the differences that I really want to get into today. For the reading handout, it's very short. It's basically about Bottom and Titania's relationship. Whenever Titania wakes up, she's in love with Bottom. Okay, so Bottom is an actor, right? And he's in the woods because they're rehearsing for their play. And Robin comes in and finds them rehearsing, and Robin decides to make trouble, right? Because that's what he does. He loves to cause trouble, and he loves to cause problems. Okay, so Robin decides to turn Bottom's head into a donkey, and all of his fellow actor friends run away from him because they're scared. But Bottom doesn't realize that he's gone through a change and that he's a donkey now, right? He still thinks he's the same and that all of his actor friends are pulling a prank on him, okay? So whenever he's by himself in the woods because all of his friends ran away, he starts singing. And Titania wakes up because of the singing. And remember, she has the flower in her eyes, so she falls in love immediately. And Bottom's not a great singer, right? And remember, Bottom doesn't know that he has the head of a donkey. And Titania immediately falls in love, and she goes, "Hey, keep singing. I think I'm in love with you, right? Keep going. Where have you been my entire life?" And Bottom is like, "Me? Who are you talking to?" Right? And Bottom, it feels like, yeah, you're in love with me. Like, I'm the man, right? He doesn't know that he's changed. And Titania won't let Bottom leave the woods anymore because she's in love, right? She wants to be with Bottom, and she wants to be a couple with him. Okay, so that's basically what's happening in Act 3, Scene 1. It's basically Titania just being like, "You're my man from now on. You're not leaving. We're going to be together forever." Okay, that's how strong the flowers magic is. Okay, that's basically what's happening. And it's supposed to be for a funny effect, that whole scene, especially in the point of view of the audience, because we know why Titania is in love with Bottom, right? It's the flower. But Bottom doesn't know that. Bottom thinks Titania is in love with him because he's, good looking. And Bottom doesn't know that he's turned into a donkey, but we do, right? So that's the differences in point of view in this play, right? And that happens quite a bit, right? We know everything about the flower and everything. Titania doesn't know about the flower, That's why we know everything, and that's why we find everything a lot funnier than the other characters, okay? And remember, if you watch that video, the audience is just laughing the entire time. And I think that's a really cool video. And also, a cool fact about that video is that area is where Shakespeare actually held a lot of his plays. So that's some history there. Okay. So I think I will be uploading an assignment and maybe a discussion post. Look out for that because grades are finalizing next week for your second progress report. But that's really it for this lesson. Like, it's a really short lesson. If you're not reading along with the handouts or watching the video, you're not going to get a whole lot out of this. Okay, right? So I need you to read the handout. I need you to watch the videos so that you know exactly what is happening. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. Catch up on your grades. If you can't find your username and password for the STAR testing, let me know personally so I can send it to you. But other than that, that is it for this lesson video. And I'll see you here for the next one. Bye.